All right, shalom. I think that we my internet had went down. So can somebody that's in the chat? I don't know if I got reconnected or not. We have just a little difficulty there. Okay, I don't know. Maybe in the process of trying to get there. Um, let's see what happens. Uh, all right. Okay, let me put this right back up and we'll see. Let me check it, see where we at. We are okay, okay. I got a thumbs up, so we must be in the in the process. All right, well, shalom, shalom. My internet had went down. Those of you that's in the room, hopefully you haven't left. Get a shout out to everyone. I think we was trying to get my let me see, get the guests back in the room. See if we can get them, get Mr. Sid back here. Let me see if I could call him. Hope all of you has had a great week so far. Okay, so hopefully it won't go down again in that. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Karika said his own. Tell Sid to come back there. Uh, Karika, if he can. Not I could call him here. Oh yeah. Well, we got joy and pain, so we getting the pain part right now. We getting the pain in here. We getting the pain. Let me give him a call. Did he get back? No. Try here. All right, here we go. Said a error going on. I may have to. Let me see. Oh, wrong number. I don't want that one. Oh yes. What? Give him a call. See what he's got going on. Yes, sir. Yes. I got the error connection here, so I don't know. Did you try to get back? Did I try to get back? Yes, sir. I just tried again. And what did it do? It says now it says network is good. So. Okay, I still got an error on my part. Oh yeah, it says waiting for others to join now. All I did was refresh the window. Yeah, yeah. Well, I can't. I won't be able to do that. Maybe if I leave the room and then come back, maybe. Let me try that. I hope it don't shut everything else down. Well, when you reset your modem, it shut down the room. Oh, okay, okay. Hmm. All right, let's try it again. Okay, I'm trying to connect. That should be it. Should be getting closer anyway. All right, just let me know. If I joined before you, it won't let me get in. I'm connected, so if it's the same one, you may have to refresh again. Oh man, we got bonus coverage right here. Bonus. All right, there you are. Okay, all right. I'm gonna hang this up. Okay, all right. Looks like we are bored here. All right, get a shout out to those of you that's on here joining us real quick. All right, let me get you in here, my brother, and see what's going on. All right,
Hello.
shalom. Oh yeah. All right, we got those that hanging in there. They still here.
Got some
All right.
Hebrews. They're enduring to the end.
Endure. Okay. All right. Yes, you hear me. Okay. All right. I guess we back on track. Uh, those are the things that happens. I think it happens to everyone in that. So, wow. What a difference a day make, huh?
Yes.
What a difference it makes. Oh man. All right. So we got the joy. We had the pain just a little earlier.
Got the
So
fake
that
title.
what yeah, so that's the teacher there on the spot, Yeah, that's the teacher on the spot trying to get those things together. The joy in the pain, the joy in the pain. So all right. I think we are probably getting ready to set here and wow.
Yes, indeed.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. Joy and
See, I
pain.
got to hear the intro. I know everybody else didn't.
I did it. Yeah, yeah. I had to stop it and start again. So I was hoping that it would still use the same stream, because sometimes if it changed stream, then I would have to start it all over again, I guess, when it comes to the live session. But all right. Well, we're back. So let me see
Okay.
what time
Yeah,
it
I got to
is.
hear the intro.
Okay.
I know.
Huh?
Sorry about that. I had my volume turned up.
Okay, okay, all right, all right. We're gonna just discuss just a little about joy and pain. Um, I think I did a while back. I did a power up, I think, on shouting for joy or something like that. So it'd be a good one to maybe to look at on the joy part. And I think I wanted to focus. I think I used the word pain, but when I'm looking at it, and I think we was just discussing this a couple of minutes before everything started. You had mentioned suffering, but a good word too would have been sorrow. That'd have been a good word for us too. Sorrow. So as we know, and I want to, I guess tie what I'm trying to say too is, it's many different ways I just want to use this pain or this sorrow, because you have pain in your body, and that's something that I'm definitely familiar with in that. But pain is an uncomfortable feeling. So that's the reason that most times we use, it's kind of tough to say mental in that, but the mental pain or the relationship pain with one another. I think it's, so, and most times it is uncomfortable. That's what brings the pain, but it lets us know that something is wrong, though. Even though it's uncomfortable, it lets us know that something is wrong. Even though the pain, regardless, you know, it lets us know something. So I want to use that the joy and the pain, and many times I say they, two sides of the coin, right? They two sides of it, and a lot of times. We experience the pain because sometimes we remember the pain and we don't remember so much of the joy in that. But pain and then come about emotions, because pain can change your whole emotion of how you feel about something or how you feel about a situation. And then I think you had mentioned too. I had that the suffering of it. So I think sometimes it's easier to take a hold of this when we realize that that's part of it. That's part of the life, and it was very difficult for me too. And so that's where I'm coming from, and not saying that just want to share, not saying that as we use the word haven't arrived there, but I have been through different things, and sometimes I begin to wonder those things. So this is something I've been prayerfully about for years. So that already let you know that sometimes it could take a while. Everything is not instant. I know well, most things are not instant, especially if they're good to us when it comes to the things of the covenant, or we'll use the word spiritual in that. Spiritual meaning those things that we do, to say worship the Father, the things that we meditate on, and all of that. Uh, Everything, when you go say spiritual, everything has a spiritual purpose, though. Somehow you can kind of trace it, and sometimes it'll let us know what's really really going on, but everything you can kind of. I ain't saying everything that's bad. What's the spiritual application in this? Da, 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 da. But the creative universe has given us. He created us, and then he has given us the manual. If you allow me to use that particular word, the manual to demonstrate in our lives how we ought to walk. And then we'll be able to walk in those things. So we have to come when we're thinking about the joy and we're thinking about the pain. One of the things that let me see if I can get this up here. That let me kind of it kind of threw me off then when we was. So hopefully I don't hit the wrong button. See, uh,
It's all good.
right. So I'm gonna try to bring this up. Oh, okay, okay. There it is. I think. We'll put that down, and I just wanted to put up a scripture here. It'll help us to look at some things as those that's here with us. In of course, Psalms 51 and verse 12, it was talking about restore to me the joy of my of your deliverance. So uh, I had the thought about restoring. So the thing is, sometimes when we in pain, we can't stay there in pain. Pain lets us know that we need to do something. If you if you had your because a pain naturally is the indicator that something's going on. If you had your foot out and somebody was to go and step on your foot, right, you would feel it immediately, but that pain is letting you know that if you continue, that this person continue to step on your foot, then it can damage it. So it's you can be able to move it. So most times, if we hit something or something goes on, we need the pain there in order for us to pull back, right? And make sure that we're it's like a safety measure in our bodies anyway, to let us know that we can't keep doing that. If you do, according to what it is, of course, if you do, then you can injure that. You can injure it. So when the pain comes and say, hey, hold it. If he keeps stepping, he could break a toe, you know, or whoever, in that sense. But it's there for either to pull it back or to tell the person to stop. You stepping on my feet. You on my feet. You on my foot. You there. You there. So you have to make sure that we use that pain because joy is connected to it. Joy is right there. So in our relationships, sometimes joy is there, and so we have to realize that. So the more that we learn different things, then the more that we find out what we really don't know. you know. And so the more sometimes the more knowledge or the more wisdom or whatever you get, you'll sit there and you'll realize that hey, listen, it's a lot I still don't know, you know. And I won't mention the topic, but what me and you was talking that a young man came up with something else, from the beginning. It's so many things that we really don't know, in that.
Yes, sir.
So the pain that we discover on this is something that when we're looking at it is the vessel that our pain come out, say mentally, or when we are in relationship with one another, right? Now, here it is. The same thing is uh, uh, in a sense that this love for somebody, it can be bitter and it could be sweet, uh, because of how someone may treat you or how they may, uh, what I want to say, not only treat you, but your relationship with them, that's another thing. I'm trying to get this down here. There you go. That's another thing. So it can be bitter, and then yet it can be sweet. So what I'm saying is, if we look at the bitterness as being pain, and then we look at the joy as being sweet, you know, but it's coming. And here's where the problem comes in. I had mentioned this somewhere down the line, but the problem is coming from the same vessel, though, and sometimes it's hard for us to separate because of what's in us, uh so when somebody is loving you, right, and then if I cause pain to somebody, I'm the same person. I love you, that's the sweet in this, and the bitterness is that I have caused pain, whatever that pain may be. So I want you to think about the pain, like again, is saying to be something that, okay, let me back up, let me see what's going on, because that's how you can build your relationship. A pain is not for us to be there, but the pain part is thus this is something that we need to do. And so sometimes different things bring about sorrow and all of that, all of those things, it brings those different things about. So um we have to remember that when we have a relationship, then the relationship normally it starts off real good, at its high point, whether you meet say your potential wife for the first time, whatever you're doing, it always, when you go to the job for the first time, when you're greeting somebody, most times it always starts off good. It starts off in the sweetness of things, you know, because you do all that you can to build, because you building. But sometimes I think we stop building. It ought to be a continual of building until the end in our relationships. It ought to be building. It ought to be those things. So sometimes we stop. We can't stop building. Sometimes in our marriage we stop building. We can't do that. We have to continue to build. That same joy when we met one another is that same joy that we got to carry it through. But things happen to us, right? Because the same one that brought us joy will be the same one that brings us pain. And so you can use that even for the little ones, the children. They understand that mama and daddy, they love you, but yet you will get the same discipline from them, the same discipline from them. And so sometimes
Hmm.
that discipline can bring about pain in their life, right? It'll bring about a certain amount of pain, but it's coming from the same vessel, and it's hard for us to distinguish because it's coming from the same person. Many times I used to, for years, I would wonder why, until I thought about this and meditated on this for years. I thought about why is it that, I just use me, and I'm talking about me. I just use me. Why was I was the best thing since sliced bread, and then what happened? Or the same
Hmm.
thing is I enjoy the presence of this person, and now something happened, you know so what happened, when they might have brought about a certain amount of pain, but it's the same person, it's the same person.
Yes.
And so we have to know that. in this relationship, the pain is not there to destroy you. You know, it's not there to destroy you, but it's there when you have the pain to get those things corrected. And so many times we know that we would go to our brother if we have pain or for something. Sometimes a disagreement and all those things can bring about pain in that. So we can go to him. We can fix that. Because it's the same. It's the same vessel, and sometimes I said it maybe for the third time. It's hard for us to separate. And the only thing you have to do sometimes is bring up some name, and you'll see how much pain that they have caused you, and how much pain though that you're holding on to. So our goal in this to get rid of that pain and slide right into joy. The longer you stay in that pain, then the more intense it will get. So you have to come out of the pain. If you don't come out of the pain, you're gonna be there. And so we have to be able to pursue the things of the Father, and this will help us come out of this, right? You pursue the things of the Father, you begin to work out the things of the Father, and then most times you have to take that pain and then you're gonna have to put it somewhere. Because the more you think about it, then the more the pain and the grieving, the sorrow comes. Let's use that. The sorrow comes in that. And so you can't stay there long. You have to come out of there quick. And so what we're trying to do is get to this joy. Get to the joy that we need in order for us to have a relationship. Now, that's the reason, whatever it is, then whatever, if it's husband and wife or whatever, you can't stay there, because the thing is, you're going to get in relationship, you will get hurt, right? So it's almost a guarantee. If you've been around, you will be hurt, but you don't go from hurt to hurting, right? So you will get hurt. Expect hurt. See, sometimes that hurt or that pain does not necessarily mean that it is a bad relationship yet, right? Because you would get that, and that hurt I'm talking about, it will be connected to your feelings like that, your emotions, should I say, your emotions. It will do that, right? So we can expect that. It's sort of like in this walk, we should expect persecution, you know, for the
Yes.
Messiah's sake now, not for our
For
sake,
his
for his sake. So
hallelujah.
that's something that we ought to do and expect also in that. So I think that is very, very important in that. So I'm gonna let you. I'm about 20 minutes in. I'll let you slide in if you had a thought or two.
Praise Yah. There's so much. I was just taking some notes. Oh, cool. You got a word up there. What is that? Sorry, I can't see the whole thing.
You no, I didn't want. I just putting this up. Yeah, don't worry about it. Go ahead and say what you're gonna say. Just talk about the sorrow
I
and the
just saw
pain.
a little Hebrew. That was it.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
yeah. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm
Pay
sorry.
no attention.
Yeah.
All is well. Oh
Yeah.
man, it's just I think I love these discussions and I love these power up moments that we get to share because it does cause me to learn, and then be aware of what I've experienced. Because I remember somebody was saying experience is the best teacher. I heard that
Mm.
like 100 times last week, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But the best part about it is it's true, and I think without wisdom and without the appropriate understanding, you can miss all the lessons you've learned. So I'm thankful to hear what you were saying because it brought about a good remembrance. But I love what you were saying in the beginning about being uncomfortable, and I think that that's what really stands out to me in terms of the pain that causes spiritual growth. If I were to say it, it would be an uncomfortable um, how can I say? I don't want to just put it in a category of feeling, but you're unsettled. Just a
Mm-hmm.
very unsettled, very stirred. Some people may even put it in the category of nauseating, but it's that spot where you're just so uncomfortable. And what you had just said really struck me, and I was thinking like, why is it that people do become comfortable in pain? And that's what
Right,
really
right.
got me when you were saying that, because I believe pain is going to bring up two different responses. It's
Mm-hmm.
either going to bring up resistance or it's going to bring up surrender. And I truly believe like what you were just saying is true, because depending on the circumstance, you're only going to go one of those two ways. I think like if
Mm-hmm.
somebody sometimes you've got I guess an aimless pain, like if you stub your toe or something, there's not much you could, what are you gonna, you're just gonna hop up and down or grit your teeth. But I'm thinking more along the things that are caused by the situation or caused by other people. Like if somebody I wrestled with my brothers. I have brothers when I was growing up. So if somebody puts you in a headlock, you're gonna do one of those two things. You're gonna tap out or you're gonna try to get out. So I'm just thinking down to the situations of life, especially the things that are caused by our behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Those are what are bring about the sorrow. And I do believe that we all have that verse in our heart, but there is a sorrow that doesn't cause change. But there should be a sorrow that does. And what come to my heart was, I think it's in Luke 15, where Messiah is telling us this parable about these two sons. And I'm thinking that the son that left, when he came to a spot of pain, it was way after his bad decision. It took a while for him to realize I messed up. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that is at Luke 15, and I think that is a great example of at least what I'm seeing so far about what you're saying about how pain and everything in this situation has a spiritual purpose. Sometimes, well, when the child gets in trouble, to teach them the lesson, you bring about a disciplinary action that should cause them pain. And I think it's the same too from our Heavenly Father. He's going to discipline us, and that discipline is going to come in the vein of suffering, or like you were saying earlier, and the uncomfortable, or even things that are bitter. Because I like what you said about the relationships being sweet at the beginning, and I think that's why the wise ones would say, "You forgot your first love."
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Right, right. Absolutely.
Then, and when we first came in with the joy and the exuberance and the dedication, we all of a sudden capitulated. And I know it's easy to do; it's very easy to do. But if we become comfortable in that place, that's a path. That lackadaisical nature can be a bad place to be, because when the good thing comes, you may not see it.
Right,
And
right.
I think you were saying that's really what was standing out to me. Like what am I going to do when the pain, or I would even say the discipline from the Father that caused a pain possibly, am I going to resist it and quench the spirit, or am I going to surrender so that I can begin growing again? So that's what was in my heart just then when you had said that.
Uh, but yeah, absolutely, my brother. I think that uh, when you um, coming from the same vessel, I think is really what gets us, in that. And but even though that you have sorrow, right, you have to still endure to the end. Even though you have sorrow, you still have to do it to the end, and that's going to be very, very important that we do that. So the sorrow comes, but in a relationship, and you can put that with one another, or husband and wife. One of the things is um, you can endure it, whatever
Mm-hmm.
it is, whatever that pain is, you can endure it. Now, many times that I, the pains that say pains in my body or whatever, I have accepted that, but I'm enduring, right? I'm going
Yes.
through it. I still have the pain, but I'm pushing through it. So I won't
Yes.
surrender. So in our relationship, I'm not going to surrender to the pain that somebody might have caused me, or the pain I caused somebody, right? So the thing is that I have to push through that in order to have the joy. So I have to look at the joyful moments in that. So I'm because I'm building a relationship. And so sometimes the stronger the relationship, then sometimes the severity of the pain, right?
True. True.
Especially when you don't get uh say pain from that person. Uh
Hmm.
and then say I'm just using something. Say after a year something happens, and whatever that happened brought about pain, versus a week the pain is different. Well,
True.
because we still building it. But the same thing,
Yes.
marriage or same thing, whatever, the pain because of you, the severity of it, and then once you come off and you say, oh man, because to each person, that level of pain can be different. I think even my wife, she can endure a certain amount of pain, that maybe somebody else they can't really, and they get a scratch and they ready to fall out. You know what I mean? So any what young lady that had any children, they could tell you about some pain, but it does not last, right? It's
Yes.
just
It's
for the
temporary.
moment. Yeah, it's just temporary. So in our relationship, the pain is just temporary, but we
Yes.
have to choose that it be temporary, right?
True.
We don't want we you
True.
know we want to be able to execute the joy out of it, because there's always something that we can look at and to pull that joy out of it.
Yes.
And so it does not last forever. I know it might seem at the time it may last forever, but it doesn't last forever like that, right? So sometimes I was reading earlier, and they were saying that if you have get your leg cut off, amputated, or whatever, sometimes they still have feelings in the legs that's not there,
Mm.
right? So sometimes you can have, when people are not around or whatever, that pain there, you can still have that symptoms, or you think that pain is still there, but that leg is gone, right?
The
So you
nerves.
got to move on to a joyful point in our lives. We can't stay there. We have to move on. We have to find the joy. Now, if you've been amputated, or if you cut off, then and every now and then that feeling is there. That feeling I have for you is there, right? Or maybe it's the feeling of joy, or maybe it's the feeling of pain, right? So, but whatever it is, even though you're not there, I still feel that.
Yes.
So the quicker we get out of this pain situation and get it taken care of, then the quicker that we can move into the joy of things, right?
I mean,
So one thing that that person or those people, whatever, remember that at one time though, those that person made you the happiest thing on earth.
true.
I mean, you was, I mean, there was times you couldn't sleep, according to what it is. You couldn't wait to visit that person again. All of those things. That was the joy of things, right? But in
Yes.
relationships, I want people to understand this, may hear this, those of you in the room, in relationship though, pain comes with it. You can't get
Yes.
around that pain. It comes with it. It comes with it because of our emotions and what it is. What level, don't worry about it, right? But in relationship, I want you to know that love is somewhere around, right? Somewhere around. We just gotta find that. Because if you allow me to say that love is the antidote for that pain, and that's going to move us right
Amen.
into joy, right? That's going to move us right into
Yes.
the joy. Yes, you've been hurt, but if you still hurt from last year, something's wrong, right?
Yes.
So we
Yes.
need to get rid of that as soon as possible. As soon as
Yes.
possible. We should only mourn for the lost ones as soon. You can't. as soon as we can, right? We need to move off into the joy. And part of that
Agreed.
is that's the reason part of people they have pain, but they don't know what to do with the pain. And I mean, I could get into all this tonight, but sometimes they don't know what to do with the pain. So what they do is they lash out at others. You know, people say hurt people, you know, type deal. But that's because they are in pain, and so because they was in pain, they want somebody else to be in the same pain, you know. So if you meditate on the pain that you are in, or if you meditate on the things that what someone might have done to you, you'll never get to the joy point. You never get there.
Mm.
You understand? So that's the reason you're gonna have to let it go. You know, you're gonna have to let it
Let it
go. You're gonna have to
go.
move right into joy. You're gonna have to do that. You know, because in your marriage, I guarantee you, there's something there's gonna be a pain moment. You're gonna have a pain moment, and so unless you get back to joy, it'll keep going, and so we need that. And so
Man.
nobody wants to give you pain though, you know, and so nobody wants to do that because sometimes they don't know what it is that will set your pain off, you know what it is. But let's not take so much of an injury, but let's take it as, you know, what's going on here. Let's fix it before it becomes a problem, you know. And so pain let us know that something is wrong or I've been hurt, right? I've been hurt, you know, and then you can take it even physically or mentally in that. But it's the same person. It's the same person, and that's what's really dealing with that, you know. And many times I said many years ago or whatever, you know, I didn't think you that person. We would use the word hurt because that's pain. You know, it hurts us in English. The pain that we have, right? So I was hurt by that person hurt me. You know, as 10 years later, you still talking about that person hurt me.
Yes.
You know, we can't hold on to nothing like that. You got to let that go. You know, you gotta let that go in order to be healed, be released from that, and bring a certain amount of joy to that, right? And so it was something that I had here before I turn it back on you. I said it didn't last both sides. One, oh, the one, and sometimes I've been put it this way too. I might have said this, but the one that sometimes loves you the most is where you get the most pain from,
Hurt you the most.
you know. And so it is a good thing. And when the Father, how He loves us, right? He disciplines us because He loves us, right?
Because he loves it.
Yes. And so sometimes that's where it seems like you get your most pain from, you know. And
Oh, those are hard
yeah,
lessons.
according to what it's a tough one. According to what the situation is, but we must realize that though, because we cannot expect nothing else. Because I think what the road we go down is, if that person loved me, I shouldn't have this pain. But that's not
Yes.
so. You understand that that's not so. So will be in some kind of false box when we realize that sometimes that pain, that love there, the shaking of, you know, that's that, you know, the tense that they love you. That's the reason the intense on how you love them. That's the reason it hurts so much. You know,
Yes.
that's the reason the pain hurts so much. That's the reason the sorrow is there. You know, it causes that pain in that, you know. And so, you know, sometimes it can bring about even deceit, lying to, or somebody lying to you, or deceiving you, or you know, whatever that might be. But both of them are one in the same. You know, both of them are one in the same. So we just have to remember that. I'm gonna let you slide in, my brother. See what you got for us.
All praises to the Most High. I
Hallelujah.
like what you just said there. That right there was awesome about the Father, and I think that that's what's so great about the relationship. Like you were saying, I believe so it's like love. If it's a pain in a relationship of love, it'll bring about healing. But if there
Hmm.
is a lack of love, it will lead us astray. And I
Absolutely.
was speaking to a wonderful wise woman. She's beautiful too. And she was talking about that in that very way, about how if you have people in your life who love you, they are going to do what is going to be upbuilding. So I guess sometimes we think about those friendships, and the covenant is supposed to be the house of the tightest bonds possible. The
Hmm.
covenant we have with the Father. And I think what is found in the love and the joy that we have with the brotherhood is what it should be is we're reflecting the same love. So
Hmm.
it's like if I'm loving you and you're loving me back with the same love, then that response that I'm going to give you isn't going to be, and it brings about pain. I'm not gonna turn to the worst the worst possible outcome.
Hmm.
I'll typically, look at it as it was unintentional, or it was for my good, or even if I did get hurt and it was a temporary thing, I eventually, because it was based in love and wisdom, I eventually
Hmm.
was able to come to the knowledge that this was for my good. I could come to an understanding. But I think sometimes what we're feeling is an undeserved pain, you know? And it was like, well, I was loving you. Why didn't you love me with the same love? And I think that's what gets me. And there's a verse like that in Philippians 2 too. And it says, make my joy complete by being of the same mind, having the
Hmm.
same love,
Hmm.
and being of one purpose, and of being in of one purpose. And I think that right there is what that's what I was gleaning out of what you were just saying.
Hmm.
And again, it brought me in my heart back to, like you were saying about his temporary nature in Luke 15. The story the master is telling us is that son experienced that pain for a bit in his loose behavior, and then later was when he was restored onto his father, it brought about an exuberant joy. So I was thinking about, like you were just saying, like we can experience both, but there had to be a place to return to. So, like you were saying about the amputation, we know naturally we can't regrow our limbs, but when we're thinking in the spiritual sense about being lame spiritually, not being able to carry out the obedience of the Father,
Hmm.
or blind spiritually, not seeing the path or the way or the truth, that sight and that walking can be restored, even if we never had it. I think sometimes it says that people were blind from birth, or that people were lame from birth, and that the master, I'm thinking that would be painful, that the master then was able to give them the ability to walk and the ability to see. So when I was listening to what you were saying about letting it go and the hurt, I believe that's one of the most powerful lessons, but one of the hardest lessons, especially when, like you said, it was from an unexpected source, someone who was close, someone who was really close. So when I don't know all of it, but when people who are close to you, um, you give them access to your vulnerability. Like you only turn your back on people you trust. And I think sometimes when all things, I'm thinking battle scenario, but I was thinking like when you said that, I guess that lack of having the same love is what then causes that person to hurt you. It's not that I'm thinking it was a foolish wound, like it was based in their foolishness, like why the pain would hurt, why they would come at you. But if the maturity was there, we would see that we needed, like you said, the father, that fatherly disciplinary correction and love, because ultimately he's the restorer. So, I'm looking at it like you were saying, that Abba gives us what no one else can. And then we then are supposed to give that same type of love and appreciation on the others, and, bring about the joy, not the pain. So that was, when you had said that, it had caused me to see it that way. Of course, I know there's always a deeper answer, an enlightenment.
Well, yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I'm gonna stretch you. I don't know about how much deep is, but I'm gonna stretch all of us. In that is, no, nobody can. You go. I want us to understand that the pain is a symptom, and in my way of putting this today, in a way, is a symptom that something may be wrong and that it needs to be fixed. So we don't run into the hurt part, right? Now, this is another challenge for you is, when I say you, I'm talking about us in general. It's another challenge for us to make sure that we don't allow people to hurt us, though, right? No one can hurt you. You just allow them to hurt you. You see, because you say, "Oh, you hurt me," you know. The pain when the pain comes, it's still in relationship. That pain is still in the relationship in that. And so it's letting us know that something needs to be fixed or something needs to be done here, and it brings that pain because if not, it's going to bring about sorrow. And then it'll bring about what you was mentioning earlier about that hurt. The longer it stays there, the more intense and more it manifests in different areas. So what we need to do is to make sure that it doesn't stay there. It's been times I don't understand why I did things to people because that's one of the things we get. We think we never did nothing to nobody. We hurt somebody as long as you've been living.
Mm.
If you living, you didn't hurt somebody. You didn't cause pain on somebody else you know and so that's the reason I needed forgiveness and I needed somebody to forgive me. So these are all of the things that we have done. So that's the reason I know that it happens. But if all of those things was held against me of what I'd done, I would never have a relationship with anyone. I'd be on an island somewhere by myself, right? Because I didn't hurt some. What about the people I hurt? It had got to hurt. Maybe they didn't understand that pain wasn't mean that the relationship was getting ready to end. We think pain brings an ending to that, but its joy is around the corner. It's one and the same, right? In order to have that joy, then you're gonna have to have pain, and that pain is gonna be there. So once that pain comes, then we need to take care of that at that point there, because most times we'll say that you hurt me, you hurt me. Well, I hurt somebody too, and so we can get all those things together. Not only that you hurt me, but others has hurt me too. So that's one thing that gets me through it when I feel that I have been wronged or something like that. Somebody wronged me or whatever. In that, what helps me is to realize that listen, I hurt somebody too, right? So I can't stay there, and then according to what it is, either you can build the relationship or you can't build a relationship. Sometimes it's just not, possible. But one of the things that we don't want to do is lead the relationship in pain, leave the relationship hurt. That's what we don't want to do. That's something that we should desire not to do, you know. And so these are the challenges. If we think that we'll never get hurt, you shooting out something that it's not gonna happen. If you think you'll never get no pain, that's not gonna happen. That's gonna be continue until your last breath. That's the way that's gonna be there. And so we are hooked up, and the creator of the universe has put them emotions and different things in us. And listen, it's for a reason. All of it is for a reason. But that's one of the things that
Yes.
we have to understand is we can, those some of the things that we have to work on. Those don't stay there long in that, and to know that we have to have a heart to forgive others, and then you can move on. But you can't stay there. What we have and what I talk to people over the years is they want to stay in their hurt. They want to stay in their pain. You don't have to stay there. That's a miserable situation. You won't find a joy like that. You won't find that. You want that in Acts 2, just in 2, it said here, and you have made me to know the ways of life, right? The ways of life, and you shall fill me with joy, right? Fill me with joy. And so sometimes we have to be get filled with joy. So we have to press in order for us to get there. Now, if you don't want to get there, then there's nothing. You can that people would say you can waddle in that. But I'm telling you,
Hmm.
you can't nobody hurt you that you don't know about, right? Right now, nobody in Hawaii had hurt me. Why? Because I don't know nobody there, right? So it's the people that you know. It has to be people that or people you come in contact with. That brings that. When we say hurt, we let it get to that. Or what somebody has done to you in relationship or whatever. And so sometimes we may not agree, we may not feel bad, but of course Torah gives us steps on what to take, right? And when these things happen, the thing is, my brother, though, that we have to be one that do it. We can't
Yes,
stay
sir.
there. We have to have the strength to endure. We got to be a people that endure, in that. And no, nobody, no pain feels good. But I endure with pain daily. So I know you can get through it. And every now and then it reminds me that it's still there, right? But we have to do something about that in order to bring the joy. So fill me with joy, but I want life in His ways. And so I have to experience those things. Oh, I lost you. I think I lost you there. So I have to experience those things in that. Yeah, I did lose them. Hallelujah. So we're gonna experience those things. Let me see what time it is. By the way, okay, we started late, so I guess we've been. There you go. Yeah, yeah. You trying it there. Oh, I must have caused you some pain.
No, sir.
I
But
thought
I
I, I
understand what you're
thought I,
saying. I think I had a light bulb moment there at the end, though. So that was
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir. Praise God.
Praise God. So just remember, love is always around. I think I hit some of the topics that I wanted to hit. There's so much more to add to that. And I know we got a late start, so the recording itself, but just praise y'all and thanking Him.
Amen.
So you go ahead and slide something else in there to get ready to close, and we'll get ready to close them out.
So I just wanted to make sure I was understanding that last point you were making well.
Absolutely,
So
go ahead, bring it
you're
out.
saying along the line of, oh no, I'm the learner.
Yeah,
I'm an
no, 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 no. Go
observer.
ahead. I'm messing with you. You good? Uh
What I was
huh.
thinking, like you said, it's a person. So are you saying, are you when you're bringing out, at least the way I feel like you're teaching us pain tonight, you're talking about the pain in relationships
hmm
and how the choices we make in relationships can bring that about, right?
The choice to do what now?
The choices that are made in relationships and how they bring about they can bring about a pain response.
Correct, correct. Uh huh.
So then it would the context would be, I know it's kind of hard to figure out in all situations, but it would be why, you know? So it would be like, why did so and so do this? Or
Okay.
like you
Yeah.
said,
Or why you feeling like that? Because you the
or
one.
why I'm
Yeah,
feeling.
you the
Okay.
one has the pain, right? Because you feel like they
Okay.
did something to you. You know.
Yes.
So that you good. That's why I want to start. Is like, why is I'm feeling this way? Right? And
Yes.
then I need to, if I can't work it out, then I need to talk to the person. Because a lot
Okay.
of time we need to know why we're feeling this way. We won't investigate why I'm feeling this way, right? I just because
Oh,
I
I
want to.
understand.
Yeah, people love to feel a certain way.
Yes.
They love to live in pain. They never
Yes,
want
I'm
release.
understanding.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, it is, my brother. There's so much to it. But when you feel
Okay.
that, my point on tonight, because like I say, it could is it's been years, and many times I still say why. But I can identify. Look, my pain is because I think you were saying earlier. The pain is because I love my wife. That's the why is there is that, and now
Mm-hmm.
also what she said, was it true? So I might have got
Okay.
in my emotions, right? So
Okay.
what else you telling me? Was that true? So I need to examine that. And if I can't get that, and most times if I can't get that, then we go into what we call arguments, right? But if I could go
I'm
into
getting
it,
it.
if I go into it with an understanding of, okay, I want to explain why you said this, because I'm feeling the pain right now. It's not enough pain for us to get a divorce, right? But you know what I'm saying, for me to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm feeling this pain, right? And I don't
Okay.
want to feel this pain daily, you know. Now that's when that
Yes.
scripture said, "Don't let the sun, in this sense, go down on your wrath." In other words,
Yes.
if you allow me and not change, I said, don't let that situation, don't let that pain, continue in your life. I think
Hallelujah.
we need to be quicker to get to joy. We need to be quicker in that. So that takes the acceptance of some things. Some things we just have to accept. And once we can accept them things, then we can go on, in that. Another thing I think you had mentioned earlier is people, you can't, when it says the same love, the same mind, and all of that, it's telling us those things are the mind and the character of the Messiah, or of the Father, right?
Yes.
He's our example.
Yes.
But people have different levels. Your love is different from my love. It's different levels of love. So when it's saying that, one of the things that we can't do is, you should love me like I love you. That's not gonna happen. We can never be on the same
Okay.
plane with that. You know what I'm saying? But if I have an out with my brother, I can go to him. That's the one mind. That's the one love. If I see my brother in need, right? If he's hungry, then I need to feed him. That's the one love, and that love is in the character of the Messiah, right? But because of our conditions, and because a lot of this is in the culture too, of why you got this pain and this joy. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that could be culture thing, but we come from the different backgrounds of life, and so that way we got all of these different ideas, and we trying to take those ideas and do a transformation by our mind. So we're trying to be transformed by the renewing, because our minds need to be renewed, right? This joy and this pain that just I'm scratching the surface on. If we don't start here, though, we won't get nowhere. You have to be able to
Yes.
start there. And I'm not, I'm talking, many times I say, I read the book, but I'm coming from the life experience. I'm coming from when I was embarrassed at 200 some people. That's where I'm coming from. That would bring pain to people. Some people may not never get over that, right? You may not never forget, but
Hard to
to get
recover.
over that, I'm past that. Yeah, I was past that and hugged the person and everything else, but I didn't stay in my pain. I could have been, a victim for a long time, but I didn't stay there. Right? You only gonna be a
Yes.
victim as long as you want to be one. You know,
Yes.
and so that's the other thing, we need to start taking up ownership, responsibility for our lives. We have to.
Yes.
We are the one. You're gonna have to start taking responsibility for our lives, stop blaming others, and take responsibility in that. And when we can do that, we can grow. I'm talking about growth spurts here. We'll be able to grow like that. It's not what they did to me, in that. Most times I contribute some kind of way. It might not have been intentionally. I'm talking about real life here. I'm not talking about movies. I'm talking about what the Father has put in us. And I'm talking about the relationships we have with one another, that I have experienced this over the years, right? I can always look at whether it was good or whatever, you know. I could have washed somebody's car, right? And in the process, and I was trying to help them, Let me use you. Say I went out there and washed your car. I'm trying to help you. I shine it up real good, but I end up scratching it,
Oh
right?
yeah.
End up scratching it. And then you could come back and say, well, I ain't tell you to wash it in the first place. Now you just scratch my
Yes.
car up. You understand?
Yes.
So, and then
Yes,
I say,
sir.
I'm just trying to help you. What you mean? I'm just trying to help. I can fix this thing. And then here you go, right? So all of us are responsible, in that, you know, all of us are responsible. So if I wouldn't have scratched your car, then you wouldn't have been upset like that. It was good
Yes, sir.
intention. I'm talking about in good. Sometimes we go out to do something good like that, right? And then we can take it a whole nother way. Or you could have took it, brother. I just appreciate you, cleaning my car up. Don't worry, we'll get that scratch fixed. And I should be able to tell you, yeah, but I want to get it fixed, that type of thing. But say if it went the first instance, right? Well, whatever we was starting to go back and forth on somewhere, somebody has to stand up in order to have the character of the Mashiach and stand up and say, well, okay, brother, you right. I should have asked you before I trying to wash your car. And I apologize for
Yes.
scratching it and da da da
Yes.
da. And then you should have some kind of character of the Mashiach in you after you settle down a little bit, because I just scratched your finest card, right? So you ought to come down and say, well, okay, brother, I'm sorry, I yeah, you right, that type of thing. If it was gonna go that way, but I wanted to use that because I wanted to use it. It's not like all the time I did something wrong. Some people you can do good things and still miss it, something
Mm-hmm.
the good intentions of it, you had good intentions, but it didn't pan out the way you want to. And so I don't want to so I bring pain to you when I scratch your car, you see. So it can go in, in those different ways. And I'm talking about the relationship of life. I'm talking about walking this out, the real people touching one another. This is the real deal in that. So it's very, very important, when you do this. Oh man, I wish I could have got this years ago. Oh, how frustrated I have been in those things. But I realized that I'm not going to stay there long because I cannot figure out myself as much as anyone else. Right? I'm still trying to work on me. Man, I got so much to work
Yes.
on me. I do not have time for everybody else. I got too
Yes,
much
sir.
on me. See, I got wow. I don't have that kind of time. I don't know where people get that kind of time at. I don't know how you don't. You got to focus on and that's a lot. That's a whole lot within itself. So we're gonna have to be able to do that, my brother. And then
Yes, sir.
we don't have time for everybody else. They got too much time on their hands, and I know me, and then others. Man, do I need work?
I know what you mean.
In that. Mm-mm-mm. Woo! So pursuing the Father, one of the things, the accomplishments in that, pursuing Him brings about pain, my brother. Sometimes the different things that He tells us
Yes.
to do and stuff like that, but it's only not to, it's correct us, not to damage us. So maybe the people that brings us pain, my brother, they're not there. They're just there to help us grow, and pain sometimes just helps you grow. It really
I
does.
mean,
So, um,
'cause I didn't see what I see now, like you were just saying, how the pain is in my corner.
hmm
I didn't. Now that makes so much sense. Like when it comes down to the situation, like I'm the one who has felt the pain. It's not
hmm
like somebody caused it to me, and that's what I think my
hmm
misunderstanding was
hmm
at the beginning.
and
So
that's fine. Yes, sir. Hmm
I get it now because you were saying like accountability. I guess like when you were saying that about the car, what came to my mind was Uzzah. In
hmm
I think it's like 2 Samuel 6, I think it is, where here it is, the ark is stumbling off that wagon that should have never been on in the first
Well, yeah.
place, and it rolls down to the corner and ice. Let me not let the ark of the covenant hit the ground. So I'm trying to do this good and he ends up. So, he has no authority to touch it.
Yeah, absolutely, my brother.
So when you had said that, that's what came to my mind. How and now we're all in pain and we're mourning Uzzah. If he just would have stayed in his lane,
Absolutely.
Known that.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll help us.
But you caused me to have a question for you.
Okay, sure.
Oh, what came up to me after you were saying that is I was saying, why do we stay in our pain after we've made amends?
Because we hadn't let it go.
So in the situation with the
Go ahead.
but we made it right. So why do we still hurt? So when you had said that, that's what comes to my mind. That's the most common thing.
Yeah. Because it's like when walking things out, when we're doing something, we know what to do. We think about what to do. We meditate on what about to do, but we don't do it. And so we have to start doing it. We think about, what, I ought to do this, but I have to let it go. So when you let it go and going in that joy, let me explain to this. Even with that, is when I say let it go, if you meditate on that or stay in that situation, in that thought, because we got to cast every thought down, right? That imagination.
Hallelujah.
But your imagination can build, man. Yeah. It's there for a reason, but we get that thought, and then when you bring something in to captivity, you catch it, right? You get it, like, you whatever, you put chains on it, but you have to cast it down. So you can do it. People can do that. They just don't want to do it, right? You can do it. You just cast that thing down and go for it. And then what you do though is you hold on to whatever. If we talking about relationship, then you bind closer to the relationship, right? Sometimes with me and my wife, the best time that we share with one another was, they say, when you had the makeup process, right? The makeup process was the in order for that to happen, then you have to make sure that you're not still over here in pain or still dwelling on what happened, because you can't move forward. You couldn't celebrate one another, right? If you still holding on to that pain. So you can let it go, right? You can let it go, and it's just a process of just choosing to let it go. That's all you have to do. You have to cast that thing down, and then when that thought come in your mind or whatever, you just replace it with whatever you replaced it with. See, that's the renewing of the mind. If you can't renew your mind, you don't get the ruach, and all of a sudden everything in your mind just fall out. You have to be able to be the one that cast it down. So if you're the one that cast it down, then you'll be the one that it helps. So you be the one that cast that thing down. So you grab it, you cast it down, and when I say that, I'm talking about the situation or whatever. It ought to be good. And then people say they bring up things sometimes. You know why they bring it up? They never let it go.
Because they haven't let it go.
They ain't let it go.
Never did.
Right? So
Year later, 2 years later.
Yeah. Right. So we say some things. I know, because I didn't did it. We say things, but you still dealing with it, And then sometimes you say something and then you wait for it to happen again.
Now that's what I was trying to ask you about. That is it right there. It's like I didn't know how to put it into words. That's why I asked that question, because you nailed it. It's like, okay, we made up, but why were you waiting to bring this up?
Right.
Remember last time,
Right. Yeah, exactly.
No, I don't.
Right. Because some of it, not all the time, right? I'm just gonna give you an example. I'm not saying this with everybody and anybody listen to this or whatever. But what I am saying, sometimes though, once somebody knows something that hurts you, that's the reason they bring it up again. Because they know the pain that it caused you before, and they want to slide in that pain again.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
So they're torturing.
Yeah. It may be unknowingly, but that's what you're doing. Because you know how that hurt me. So why would you bring that back up? Because you bring it back to pain again.
Wow.
I know this power of the counted. This is Sabbath power up here, so kind of deep. But
Oh
huh?
man.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man.
You're probably oh man, it's what. Listen, if we put it into practice, because that's what we have to do. If we put it into practice, I'm gonna tell you, come a long way. If I could have got it, well, I don't know how many times I said that. If I could have got a hold of this a while back, oh man, and so we got to let all those things, go. You can let it go, or you want to hold on to it, because we are taught to hold on to it. We are taught to be mad. We are taught to deal. Yeah, you know what
Yes.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the voices that we listen
Be
to,
offended.
and yeah, the voices that we listen to and all that. Nobody wants to get over it, right? It don't take much to get over it, but you do not want to. You do not want to. So that they I have to get over it. You know, Whatever happened with me and my wife after these 42 years, we got to get over it. Just think if I held on something for 42 years, and then I bring it up tomorrow.
Yes.
Some people do now. Some people do, according to what it is and all of that. But they want to cause you pain. That's the reason they bring it back up like that. You remember what you did? Da 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 da. Oh,
Yes.
it's
You had
getting
said
it's
assume the
getting yeah,
best to me
it's
one
getting
time. Why don't we
huh?
assume the best?
Do what?
You had said that why don't we assume the best?
Right,
You
right.
know,
We
and when you
should.
were saying that right now, that's what came to my heart. It's like, why don't we assume the best? Like that
Hmm.
that couldn't have been what you meant,
Hmm.
whatever the pain thing was. So now
Hmm.
I'm just gonna assume the best and it helps me get over it.
Hmm.
Man. Yeah, that's a deep one right there.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. So we take what we got and try to work it out and put it into practice. Because I want you to know that everything you get, it'll come to you. In order us to get practice, then it has to happen to us. And
It's
that's what we
gonna
need to
happen.
get in our head, that it will happen to us. People will cut you off when you're driving, right? And because I always say, why did he cut me off? Well, guess what? They gonna cut you off. It's gonna be somebody else out there that cut you off or do this or
Yes.
pull out in front of you and all of that.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
But we love to say, why do we want to complain like that.
Yes.
Because if you cut me off, there was a time they called it road rage. I had to come out of that. I had to do that. I had to come out of that. That's when I get hurt like that. But some things take time. So now I
Yes,
don't
sir.
expect those that's listening to maybe listening to wake up tomorrow and all of this. It takes practice, and then you got to do this to the end, right? So that's what we have to remember. So always remember that you found your friend, you found your husband, you found your wife. You the one found him. You the one that accepted him. And so we have to accept one another just the way that we are, with all of our whatevers. You fill in the blank, right? Once we accept them, because you don't have to accept them, whoever they may be, right? In the family of Yah, we don't have a choice who come, who go, who be born, right?
True.
We don't know, who comes in the covenant, who's reborn by the renewing of their mind. So we just we accept that. But there are some things that you can do. We choose what jobs, we choose what people, where to go, and who to hang out with. We choose those things. Um, so just remember, the same thing that makes us happy is the same thing that makes us sad. Joy and pain. Oh man, what else did I have? Oh man. Show me the path of life. In your presence it is joy. It's joy right there. Satisfaction. It's joy. All right, brother. We
Satisfied.
we're gonna get ready to close them out.
Shalom, shalom.
It's been a real long one, but hey, I think that I think if we can take this in our heart, we will be victorious. And I tell you what, the joy will be there quicker after the pain, right? The joy be there
Amen.
quicker after the pain. So remember that, my brother. Just something that give us to work on. So, all right, we're going to say a good shalom to everyone.
Shalom, Miss Fakai.
Look forward to seeing you
Libra.
again. Shalom.